Rolling.
Okay, holding Siman Shin Mem, Seif Gimel. Says the Mechaber. Hamoichik Dioish ala klaf. Someone who erases ink from a klaf, from a piece of paper, like Shabbos ala pinkas, or wax from the top of a pinkas, something I used to write on a book. If you have in that place enough to write 2 oisiyos, then Yechayev. Why Yechayev? Because Moichik is also a Chiyev, because you're erasing it in order to be able to write. Now, any time you erase something to have a place to write, it is considered Mechika. Mechika is one of the Avos Malachos. So if you look in the Taz over here, Hamochik Dioi, the Tur Kosav, Hamatashkesh B'Dioi, who Toy Sefer, the Tur writes if you go ahead and you smear ink on something, it's a problem, it's not true. It's Hamochik Tishtosh Dioi. Ala Klaf, Hamochik Kosav Kav, Kosav Moichamizal, and the Bach writes, L'chein. You have to be careful. When some wax falls on top of a sefer, you cannot take it away. Even if it only dripped on one ois. You have it sometimes, they don't have any more wax, maybe dripping. But you have a lot of times, especially in benchers, that they have some dirt fell onto the bencher. And you come back Shabbos, and you want to scratch it off from the bencher inside. So that the law is you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to scratch it off. If it's covering an ice and you're uncovering the ice, you're not allowed to do that. Even if it's only on one ice. If it's on 2 ice, chayev chatos. It says a chayev chatos.
Okay, so how do you get from rubbing out wax or rubbing out a dior because to write again?
Right.
So something which is already
written.
It's already
okay,
there.
Very good question.
So you're not really, there's no enough because it's not al menat.
Very good question. Very good question. So here the Achronim, I wasn't getting into it, but now they asked, I guess we have to get into it. You're right. Here the halacha, the Mechaber is talking about if you have ink of something on a piece of paper and you erase it. So moichik by itself is only a malacha if it's a manas lichtoiv. You want to go right. Here, I'm not being moichik a manas lichtoiv. What am I doing? I'm uncovering a letter. So the truth is, you could look at it, that here it's much worse. You're being moichik, not just a manas lichtoiv, you're writing through the mechika.
But you're not.
It's there.
Oh, so maybe that's good writing it. Now you make the ice.
And make it reappear.
Yeah.
No, it's not attached. It's not attached. It's not attached. It's not stuck onto it. It's not stuck onto it. Why? The mechika.
Wait, it's not the mechika.
What are you doing?
No, you're uncovering the letter. No, mechika you say? Yeah. Mechika itself, maybe you can say, since there's certain halachas, certain milachas, that they themselves, need, but amanas is the isim. So you say amanas livnois. Right. You're breaking something down, even if you have lachas jichel gufa as potter, but so you say amanas livnois is chayiv. It's not a malach jichel gufa. That was a malach in the Mishkan. So you say amanas livnois. Kareya amanas litzvah. You're ripping in order to sew. Those malachas, even though you don't need the extra malacha, but since I'm a nas, something else, that is called ikka malacha. That's how, otherwise it should be malacha jechal gufa. So here, you're right, we're jumping from a case of you're erasing something in order to be able to write on it, to a case where you have a letter already, it's covered and you're uncovering it. So the Taz says a lesson over here, so that's where the real issue is. Because before that, chayav chatas, you can say, it's not going to deraisa. You covered an ice. Uncovering the ice is an issa d'Rabbanan. Because now it's as if you're making an ice.
And in fact, you have 2, it's a gzera and a gzera.
What's a gzera and a gzera?
One ice. Number 2, you're not writing.
No, one ice is not a gzera. One ice is an issa d'Raisa. That's chayav chatas. Someone writes one ice, it's also d'Raisa.
It's also d'Raisa?
Yeah. Chashish also d'Raisa.
Right.
2 ICAs is a chiv chatos. 1 ice is also to do with the rice, not with the rabbanon. Yeah, it's not the rabbanon. So the Pri Megadim over here argues in the Taz. The Pri Megadim says, I didn't want to check it up this time. I didn't think anybody would ask this question, but let's check out the Pri Megadim here. Shin Mem, the Taz, Nishmat Zav Aleph. Yeah, if you look in the Taz, Mishpat Zav Aleph, most of the way down, he writes a Masha Kosher Bach Techayiv.
Yeah.
See it?
4 lines in the one.
The Masha Kosher Bach means the Bach says you chayiv when you uncover 2 ICs chayiv chatas. Says the Pri Megadim Tzarchim, the ain't loy moichik, but loy kaisiv. It's not moichik, and it's not kaisiv. The ksav memela isa. Ve'efsher isuda d'Rabbanan. Maybe it's only an issa d'Rabbanan to uncover the ICs. Gam tiltul muktzah shayva says maybe it is an issa to mutalto the wax itself. But the answer kasha, he says, why should be chayiv chatos? It's not moichik. Moichik is only amanas lichtayv. Kaisiv it's not. You're not writing any ICs that they're ready from before.
Well, especially with tfus, because in the older days when they had it, so maybe by removing you also mochik whatever's
under it. Yeah.
Whereas today with tfus,
the space there, yeah,
which is already there.
Yeah. So the truth is, Achronim ask on the Taz and the Bach, and they don't like that it's a chiv chatos. But we do hold that uncovering the ISIS is awesome.
Even on something printed.
Even on something printed, it's awesome. We pass it that way. Maybe not chiv chatos, but we pass it. It's awesome. I'm saying where the common shaila is on food, sticks on the benches or something. So you want to scratch it off. On Shabbos, you're not allowed to do that. If you look in the Mishnah Berurah, Sifka and Yud, Sha'al HaKlaf, so it says them a few lines down, V'ayim bebach, Tehu adin diyesh lizog shenoifel diyoy ala oisiyos, or you should not have shaiva on ICS, so by limchai katishtosh la'idei mechikasai minkir ICS have a kemoichik amanas lichtoi v'chayiv. He brings out lashon v'chayiv. V'afilu ha'atishtosh al ois echad yesh l'zor yesh isra kaponim. V'heviyah Shabbos v'taz v'alirabik amon avram ashmadu sevit v'shai v'shal sefer yesh v'shim v'chika v'odim v'atifas chelev ayim ve'alach. So he brings down the Bach. He doesn't ask the Pri Megadim's kasha. He says it's called like Mechika Amanas Lichla. Then he says, the Nimtzit came be'emtza kriya. You're ready from a Sefer Torah, and you see in the middle, there's an ice that's covered. After Osir L'Shalach HaShayva Ba'chelev, V'kamokim Ein Lo Haitzi Acheres Avur Zeh. Don't take out another one.
Now we say third.
Right. So, it's mashma, the reason is because this is a whole different sugya. That's good I know it. What happens if you have one of the ices covered with wax in the Sefer Torah? Is that called missing the ice or not?
Yes. Sure.
So the Bach says that when you erase it, it's called kaisiv. So the Mishnah Berurah, but you don't have to take out a new Sefer Torah. You know why? Because it's not called the apostle of Sefer Torah. Because the ice is still there. It's a little steel. It's called kaisiv, but it's called there also, but in Gay that's not a possible Sefer Torah. And allowed to continue learning from the Sefer Torah. That's what Mr. Berurah says over here.
I was what, kicking the Tzibur?
No, because it's kosher. It's kosher. It's a possible Sefer Torah, particularly the Tzibur won't help. If it's possible. It's called the kosher Sefer Torah. It says don't take out another one. Okay. But even though we don't, Mr. Berurah's mashma, he goes with the Bach that's a chiv d'oraisa. The Pri Megadim doesn't like it. He says, how could it be a chiv d'oraisa? It's not called moichik, it's not called kaisiv. Still, everyone agrees in Issa d'Rabbanan there is, therefore, you should not take off any dirt covering any ICIs.
Does it matter how many words are covered?
Even one letter.
So if it's a whole word.
It's worse.
Worse.
It's worse. Oh, in the Sefer Torah you mean? Oh, in the Sefer Torah.
He says you can read it Baal Peh.
Yeah, it's kosher. The whole thing is kosher.
Wow.
Doesn't say how much. Doesn't say how much. It doesn't make a difference how much. If the Sefer Torah doesn't become possible. So our claim that argue.
You can't see the letter because you can't see if it's broken or cracked.
Yeah, so, but it has a chazaka. But it has a chazaka, that's kosher. It has a chazaka, that's kosher.
But he says here, later on, he says that בהלכות קריאת התורה ודרך החיים כתב דאם נמצא בין גברא לגברא יש להוציא אחרת.
It's a switch. There's a Kiva Eger, I think in Hilchos Sefer Torah, I think it is, that argues in the Bach. And he says that if the ice is covered, that's a apostle of Sefer Torah. I think it's a Kiva Eger that says that. Okay. Fine. So that is Moichik. Now says the Ramah, Aser Lishboir Uga Shekosev Aleha Kivad Oisiyos, and now that'll break a cookie or a piece of cake that has written on it Oisiyos, even though you only have a mind to eat it, to have a moichik. So the Ramah says halacha that we have lettering on food, you're not allowed to break it because of the Isser moichik. There's a big sugi here, and we'll go through it slowly, different types of cases over here that we have. Basically, we'll speak out first in the beginning. Basically, there's different ways of having the ICIs, the letters on the cookie. Either you can have it raised or even indented, but it's part of the cookie. That's the way they make it. The whole cookie is made that way. The biscuits, you have biscuits, right? They have the tea biscuits, they have the lettering on it. That's one way. I will see soon that's mutter according to everybody come out. Then you have lettering that you add, like in birthday cakes, right? They write happy birthday on it. That already is offer. We'll see soon. Everybody asks it. We'll see that's another level. Then you have another level that the whole cookie is in the shape of something. So really the levels are, first, the most easiest level is if the cookie is shaped in something. The next one, everybody agrees you're allowed to cut it open, it's not a problem. The next case is if you have the lettering as part of the cookie. And the third case is you have the lettering not part of it, but it was put on afterwards through something else.
Yeah, like the letter cookies.
Yeah.
There's another level, which is, I think, that's what it's on the Chazon Ish. There's a difference if it's a letter versus a tura.
Yeah, we'll see. So we'll see. The Ramah speaks about tura. Let's see. So the Ramah just says, the Ramah says that it's also to break a cookie that has no lettering. So if you look in the Taz, let's see the Taz right away. Taz argues in the whole thing. The Taz Cotton Beis says, also Lishbar Ugois, the Mordechai B'Shem Aram Kosev Ezeh Imish Moichik, Leki Surah Deraisa, Al B'Moichik Amanas Lichtov. Moichik it's not, because only Moichik Amanas Lichtov. Here, you're not Moichik Amanas Lichtov. You're breaking the cookie. Moichik Amanas Lichtov means to take the lettering off of a surface. You have a surface, and you erase something from the surface, and now you can write on the surface. When you're eating the cookie with lettering on it, you're not moichik amanas lichtov, you're destroying the whole thing. So it's not moichik.
Are we going to differentiate at any point between if you're eating it and just putting the whole, let's say you have any of the three. Any of the three. You have the number, cookie number one, right? The worst level that we said, and you just put it in your mouth and eat it.
So we get to that. We get to that. We got everything. It's all over children, we got everything. So here, it's really not a moichik, because you're not doing a moichik amanas lichtov. You're destroying the whole cookie with the lettering on it. So it's not Issa Deraisa, but it's miyu Issa Deraban Ikka, but Tinaik and Lochos. And for a child, you're allowed to give it to him. We'll get to that soon. The Ein Mitzvah ala cotton. You're not allowed to, we're not Mitzvah on a cotton. He's eating an Issa Deraban, and Rak lets a finan lebi a dime. Mashma de Begodel, you're not allowed to feed him directly. Mashma de Begodel also. Says the Taz, I don't understand it. You're going to ain't shaykh b'mokem achila. When you're eating, it's not shaykh to have boil while you're eating. Kivin shu oised came to tzarech achila. K'mot sh'gsaf tilil b'chem b'toichin. Kolshkem b'zeh shu mekalkel kivin she'ein moichen kamanas nichtay v'chal mekalkel and p'turim lama yehei aser derech achila. Why should it be aser derech achila? V'me'esim mishum she'oised achila v'oised v'yedeya she'yishabru b'shas achila. You're doing it just for that reason. So basically the Taz comes out that he doesn't like the whole Isser, and he says it's mutter, all cases are mutter.
If it's derech achila.
If it's derech achila.
Right.
If you're eating it, and derech achila doesn't mean while you're eating it. Even if you...
Why not? That's what that means.
Derech achila doesn't mean... No, derech achila doesn't mean dafka while you're... Derech achila means when you're cutting the cake to eat it, that's called derech achila. Boirer, we find, you'll not be boirer when? Only while you're eating?
Yeah.
No, miyad means you separate it and then you eat it.
Yeah.
Same thing here, you cut it and then you eat it. That's called derech achila. Not... There's a different halacha in boirer, we saw that mamish while you're eating. It's even a bigger kula. But the head of boirer, you're allowed to do oicham utachselis miyad, doesn't mean only when it's in your mouth. Miyad means even if you're doing it right before the Suda, you're allowed to do it.
So the Taz is saying that whether I put the cookie in my mouth or I break it and then
Correct,
put it in my mouth.
correct, same thing. Even if you cut it into birthday cake to get a piece to eat it, that's called derech achila.
Using the same halachas of miyad by bird,
By bird.
you wouldn't be able to do it in the morning before the Suda.
Correct. You're doing it now, miyad, you're allowed to eat it. That's it.
Derech achila is more than just putting it in the
Right, not just putting it in your mouth. Derech achila means you're cutting it while you're eating it in order to eat it. The most of the places come argue in the Taz, and they say this is not a heter. The Taz is make a legamri, we'll see soon, most of the places argue. The rest of this Taz, we'll see soon, it's a different halacha with the Svarim. If you look at the Magen Avram, the Magen Avram says, also lishbar, you're not allowed to break it, but mutter litner letinoik, you're allowed to give it to a child. Now, here's a big question, why are you allowed to give it to a child? We'll learn it maybe in a couple of weeks, Siman Gimel. And most of the places say over here, what it means is that I give it to a child. You're not allowed to be a dayim, to feed a child, even if the rabbanon is awesome. So how here you're allowed to give it to a child. So most of the places say here, what it means to give it to a child means you're not giving it to him to eat. If you're giving it to him to eat, then it's a problem. You're allowed to hand it to him or put it down in front of him, let him take it. But Avad did not let a mamish give it to him to eat.
You're talking about the whole cake, not a piece.
No, not the whole. No, a cookie, let's say.
Oh, a cookie.
Cookie, yeah. Says the Aguda, I used to add a little honey with some water to have a mepayis or to have a moichid. And that was a case where it didn't really hold the lettering. The lettering would fall apart. It was honey mixed with water. You'd write on it, and it would then smooth it out. So it wasn't really a cursive b'chlal. All our lettering today is not that way. All our lettering today holds. So this case wouldn't be a heter. The tzarchin, the kaponim mishumay nicker. The Magen Avram says, even the honey case, mishumay nicker means you're able to tell the lettering even later on. So he doesn't like that heter. And then he says, kimin oisiyos. Tzarchin, the imkain afiluk suvin olav suris yei asa. Why does it say only oisiyos? Even pictures would be asa at moichik. Why does it only say letters? Ta'atzar surah chayiv. It says if you make a picture on Shabbos, it's chayiv, it's imkaisiv. Imkain, hamoichka, if you erase it, nami chayiv. The tzarchin. So the Magen Avram basically says he doesn't understand why. He doesn't understand why it says only a case of ISIS and not Surah. So he asks us even a Surah.
Although if you go back to the Mishnah was ISIS and not Surah.
Yeah, but the Gemara says that Surah is Chayiv also. The Gemara says it brings down over here. Ta'atzar Surah Chayiv, that's a Gemara, Mishnah. I think it's a Mishnah even. Because of B'Shuvah Tzimah, we'll learn this quickly and we'll get back to it later. Because of B'Shuvah Tzimah, Siman Kuf a Seif is a kosev al daf and oisiyos, a Seif that has written on the side of it letters, So it's a famous shayla that open or close that sefer. We'll see more in the Taz soon. You're allowed to open it and close it. We'll get back to this halacha soon. The key of the asal lin of leftayach, lekim mishumachem ayin sham sheherich. Look over there that is ma'arich or levush katzos or karv l'chiyav chatos. V'chein lirli l'hachmer. The rayas are mo einu v'chrachos. What's it called again? Over knesset ha'gdoila katzos sh'noyagim l'hatim. Fine, so let's leave this aside now. The dapim on the sides of the Sefer Torah, the Magen Avraham comes out that it's mutter, and the Lavush holds as a chi of chatos. We'll get back to this soon. We'll see the Taz Barichas about this item. But then the Magen Avraham goes back to the original Shiloh with the cookies. And he says, V'chein kosev Rashi Levi Siman Lamazayim, kosev the Shabbos, the dafka kishe koisvin, ala ugois, oisios, midavar ach. The whole issue with the cookies and the cake is only when you're writing with something else on the cookie or the cake. But when the ksiva is from the cake itself, it is sticking up, or it
was baked with together.
Baked together with it, yeah, or baked together with it. But first, abiyadayim shari. So the Magen Avraham brings down a heter that you're allowed to eat the cookies if it is from the cookie itself. It's engraved in the cookie, a stamp, or it's sticking up, whatever it is. As long as it's part of that cookie, it's mutter. It's only if you write something on the cookie additional, then it is asa. That's what the Magen Avraham says. Now,
no, it's a different ingredient. That's not
the icing is part of the cake.
No, but it's a different ingredient. That's enough for me.
No, the icing is separate from the cake. Yeah.
Separate from the cake. Using the same thing. Because the table cake, a lead cake.
Oh, icing. Yes. I'll say it's davaracha. Separate thing you wrote. It's the same thing if you take a cookie and you bake it and then you add to it a cookie, the same type of cookie thing, and you add to it. That's what davaracha. Now if you look at Dagam Mavava, you should have it on the bottom of your Shulchan Aruchs. Dagam Mavava.
On the side.
You have it where you?
On the side.
Oh, we got it.
It's in the bottom of the Eitzah. I'm a Farshim over there.
Oh yeah, I'll come first. We got it.
The old Shulchan Aruchs on the left side. So Dagam Mavava, it's a little longer, we'll go through it quickly. He says like this. He's going on to Magen Avraham that says that even a tzura should be also not just oisius. Vadai devarav nechonim shem yesh iser ba'oisiyosav gam b'tzura yehei aser. V'zeh yefsher sharei amru, and that can't be. Why can't that be? Because sharei amru yosim b'shirikin ha'mitzirim b'Pesach. Shirikin ha'mitzirim b'Pesach was it would make certain shapes on the matzahs. There's no shayla for that. Do it or not to make shapes on the matzahs because it comes to be if you spend too much time making the shapes on the matzah for Pesach, because it will come crumbles. So, what?
Why did they do that?
To make it look nice. Yeah.
I thought it was designate matzah rishon.
Yeah, exactly.
That was today, really. But in the Gemara was Thomas. They made it look nice. So they asked it because you're going to end up taking too much time.
Yeah. So they didn't have any matzahs.
They didn't right. They didn't have some matzahs. Yeah, then they took the matzahs in the afternoon. They were very machmer. Those days they weren't so machmer like we are today. So they used to have also. There were some places that had a tfus, a print. They want to take time. They do it, print, and move on. So they asked it. That's a gzeira. So they didn't let any tziyurim on the matzahs. But Hayinu v'layla rishayna sheyomtiv avlechatchila le'asar siyasan racham shom chimutz. They're allowed to use it leil Pesach to eat. How could you eat? There was tziyurim, there was pictures on it. How could you eat it on Pesach? It's mashma. The only issue was they didn't let them do it because it came with their chimutz. But if not for that, they're allowed to eat it on Pesach. How could you eat it? There's pictures in the matzah. Avim kvar suim yetzim lechatchila. Vayim sachna flamazayim. They had pictures of birds and fish on the matzahs. If you're going to say that this halacha is true, that it's also to eat the cookies with letters on them, the same thing should be with tzuras. How's it possible? The Gemara says mefurish that it's mutter. It says that
this is not on the
in the matzah itself. Yeah. Well, he says, you have to have the chilik of the Rosh Levi the Magen Avraham brought down. The dafka shekoysev midavar achar. You're writing from something else. Aval emhoyim uga atma shari kain nira lefian niyas daiti. So Magen Avraham has a beautiful raya that if it's part of the cookie itself, not a separate thing, it has to be mutter. Because you have the case of the Gemara that used to make shapes in the matzah, and you will have to eat it on Pesach. Chashchimutz maybe, but the pictures itself was mutter. Says the Magen Avraham as a mefurish raya that if the shape is in the cookie itself, part of the cookie, it's mutter the chatchila to eat it only if it's a separate thing.
The Magen Avrahm's case is the same ingredient. So no, when he by the icing, it's a separate
separate thing.
But by the tziyur, he says it's talking about
part of it.
Part of it. How do you know that? I mean, maybe,
what do you mean?
Maybe he doesn't disagree with that. Maybe he means that you can't. The tziyur is only if it's from a second.
Which Magen? The beginning of the Magen Avraham? We're saying where Tatzur Chayev?
Yeah.
Adachanami. Tatzur Chayev means it's a separate thing. The Magen from the beginning just said it's not just Isis, even whatever the Isser is, it's even Metzurim.
Right. But does that mean? Because let's say if it was made
separate,
of the same material.
Oh, so then the Magen Avraham says later on this chilik with the same material or not. It's wrong on both. Side Tzurim and Side Isis.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you don't have a machlokes between the Dogma and Mervah.
Right. Well, Dogma Mervah is being a raya to that Rosh Halevi.
Oh,
yeah. It's being a raya to the Magen Avraham's Rosh Halevi. He's being a raya that it has to be through the chilik if it's part of it or not. Because the see over there they made tzurim and they're able to eat on Pesach. And then he says
the Rosh Halevi is tzurim and letters?
Both. Not just anything. Rosh Halevi says the chilik is if it's part of the cookie or if it's separate. So that chilik, the Magen Avraham brings a mefurish raya that if it's part of the cookie, it's definitely mutter. And then says the Magen Avraham, ordinarily if you start to look at the Chumas Adesh and Tevya Magen Avraham, the Be'issa de Rabbanah mutter p'sekration, we had a whole thing there in Siman Daled. The Magen Avraham now has come out with a total heter on these cookies, no matter what. The Magen Avraham is going to matter it. Why? He says, what's happening over here? This, that you're erasing it, let's even say it's a separate thing, and you're cutting and you're breaking up the ices. We saw that it's not a deraisa, because it's not real much like Baruch Lichtenstein. This is destroying the whole thing. So, according to the Chumas Adeshan that we had, that what is it? It's Einim Eschavin. You don't care to break the ices. So, it's Einim Eschavin to break the ices, but it's a psik ratio. So, it's sure going to happen. You're breaking the cookie, you're definitely going to break the ices.
But why you eat it in one continuously, non-stop? Is there any?
You're still breaking the ices. You're still breaking the ices, yeah.
But you are not breaking, but you're dying.
No, you're cutting it. So you're cutting it before you eat it. You're cutting it up. You're cutting up the cake and you're cutting up the ices. So that's a psik ratio by Nisa de Rabbanon. We had a Semichha Program, a psik ratio by Nisa de Rabbanon. There's a machlokes if it's mutter or not. Right. We're machmir. So says the Chumas Adeshan. For sure, according to the Magen Avraham, who brings the Chumas Adeshan, it said the psik ratio based on the Rabbanon mutter. Im came moichik zeh the lava manas lichtai who rak is the Rabbanon. The kimish einim eschavin mutter. And I feel that's a Magen Avraham shamshach filled based on the Rabbanon also psik ratio. Even if you have a psik ratio, it's also by this the Rabbanon. Because Magen Avraham the einim eschavin. If he's not meschavin, mekalkel. He's a mekalkel here. Not just is he not meschavin, he's ruining it. V'oiseh kalachayad, and he's doing it kalachayad. Here, Gama Magen Avraham Mata Shama Philip Sikresha. Umakolshkin Khan the Kulu Isnu. You have everything. Sides of mekalkel here. Become kalachayad. And there's mechika mekach. Umakolshkin of Einish Shevi B'Yodelak B'Piv Derech Achilasoi. So Philip Sikresha. So the Dogam above said there's someone that's through from here to be Mekel. So Mekalko, it's Kalachayad, it's a situation by this is the Rabbanon.
What's the Kalachayad? You have to do with the Shina?
No, you're not erasing it. It's like,
just by doing it regularly.
Regular, yeah. That's Kalachayad. That's the way you make it. It's cutting a piece of cake. The Mechik is Kalachayad. The Chaim Nir Alfina is Dati Heter Gomer Bedover Zeh. Says the Dogam above. There's no issue Bechlal. You want to cut open cakes, birthday cakes, according to the Dogam above, Ein Bayah. The Chaim Kol Achroyim Tamu Al Issa Zeh. Rak but Shalom Malu Libam, they couldn't get to it, the Hakil, to make a Kivin Shazeh Yotzan Pima Rami Rottenberg Ayin Shab B'Mordechai. So that's what he says. That's why no one wants to argue, because the Rami Rottenberg, the Mordechai is the one that the Ramah brings down, and the Ramah says it's also. So no one wanted to argue on the Rami Rottenberg, and therefore they said it was mutter. It was also. But, says the Rambam, really it should be mutter. And now we explain, so what's the Maram Rottenberg talking about? He says it's awesome. Says the...
So, is he saying the same story as the Taz?
No. The Taz has story, there's a Derech Achila, that's the head of Derech Achila. He's not saying Derech Achila. No. He's not saying Derech Achila. He's saying Kla'achayad, he's saying it's a situation, and it's Mekalkal. No head of Derech Achila. He says again, the kosher if you put it into your mouth.
But
different reason.
But it's more than that, because with the Taz, it's on the Achila. He's suggesting
all these cherubim.
Yeah. All these cherubim. This is better than the Taz.
No, why? Because here you have a fundamental issue.
All these cherubim.
You're coming, and the truth is we're asking the halacha, the issur on all of them, but here we're going to be mitzvah for all these things. The Taz is coming and saying, this is the way Boyer is done.
He's not going with the Taz. He's not going with the Taz. Right.
It's a different one.
Different than the Taz, yeah. And then the Neil finish that the Maram Shom Nishal, the case of the Maram was of Ugais Hatinoikais, Shakais with Alayim Oisios, the Tavois, Eich Oichel Oisnam Hatinoikais B'Yomtiv. Now he says that the reason why the Maram asked it was is because there used to be, they still have it today, when a kid comes to Cheder the first time, they make certain things in Tzuris Oisios,
and he has to lick it.
And he has to lick it, he has to eat it. It's a skula. It's a skula to do it. So he says, in those cases when they wrote the oisius on the cookie, and then the kid ate it, so there was a skula that the kid should eat the oisius.
Yeah.
So there, it's not a situation. You're mechaven to do that. You want that to happen. That's what the Maram is talking about. The Maram is talking about a case where you want the dafka the oisius, and you want the dafka eat the oisius. There the Maram says also, because it's a mechaven to do that. Therefore it's also, but by any of the schaven, it's a mekalko, then it would be called the masakin, because you want it. So that's the only case the Maram asked for that. But Stammers are going and eating a cookie with ices in it, then he says,
so he's basically asking a question on all the Achronim.
Correct. He's saying the Maram is a whole different case.
Why did he switch from Shabbos to Yom Tov?
No, that was the case. The case it was, yeah.
Well, they did that on Yom Tov?
Did on Yom Tov. So Maram didn't like it. He says, how can you do it? It's also at moichik. But that case is because they wanted the oisis bedafka, they wanted to eat it. V'kimi shekosav ugos hatinoikis v'hei hayedia. He says ugos hatinoikis, the famous ones, hei hayedia. Shayugilem lichay b'kavona shayechlenu v'skulo le'ischakeim. It was a school that should become smart. V'ayim ba'orach erech l'am nezvav v'im kein zeh hava mischaven. That case is a regular Meschavim, Megam Lav, Mekalko, it's not called a Mekalko, we wanted it. V'chein hit the Rakma Tinoikis. But Be'inyat Acher, in a different case where you don't want the oisius, you don't want to eat them, Af L'Gedolim, Mutter Af L'Gedolim, V'machmer Yachmer L'Atzmer V'loi L'Acherim. So once you machmer for yourself, but you can't pass it, then it's awesome.
That's also an interesting turnabout, because here's a case where it's more machmer with tinafos than with adults.
Why?
You can't do it if it's with children.
No, you can't do it because the children want it. For adults doesn't need it. It's not a school for an adult.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that it's more machmir. You can't do it.
Right, can't do it for tonight. That's correct.
You do it for adults.
Correct. For adults you can do it because they're not mechaber. Because it's a whole different case.
Okay.
They're not mechaber, yeah.
But this is basically the same question as regarding the birthday cake, because you want the otios until you eat it.
Yeah, but now
until you get to a point, you want to have the hostility.
So interesting point, because in the biscuits and stuff like that, you don't care.
Right.
So it's definitely mutter, according to him.
Right.
But even the birthday cakes, when you want happy birthday on it, right? So you want to say happy birthday on it, but when you're cutting it, there's no gain from the cutting. Then you're mechalkel, you really get it.
Okay, but that's up until you
right.
want
So
to eat it.
we're talking about the mechika. But we're talking about the mechika now. You don't want to eat the oisius.
Right.
Forget, you'd rather to keep the happy birthday.
Because you want to have the oisius.
Right, but now you're mechalkel.
Right.
Does it matter if the okiot are in English or in Hebrew? Hebrew, let's say, okay, it's you're calculating okiot kodesh.
English, same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. I said the same thing. English, Hebrew, even modern Hebrew, you're allowed to do it.
Even though.
So if you look here, let's just see this halacha. So let's see this halacha first, and then we'll get to the next halacha. So it says over here, the Mishnah Berurah brings it down. Here, Siv Kant has Vav. Mishnah Berurah Siv Kant has Vav. The Kosev Oleh. The Dafka, Kishakoisvin ala Ugois, Oisios, Hidavar Acher. Only halacha l'maisa. You want to know what you're allowed to do? So it says the Mishnah Berurah, only when it's written from Oisios Acher, like icing on a cake. Aber kshaksiva hi me'uga atzma betfus abiyadayim shari de'ein shem ksiva aleha u'me'el ha'shach mezeh mechika. So I call kaisev different ha'shach mechika. V'chein im kasev ha'oisis v'dvash ha'ura v'mayim ha'sham ha'peres gabkin ha'lacha. Okay. K'me'oisis ha'shochin ha'fil b'tziyurim, that's the sort of the Magen Avraham. Dav ha'moichik v'av te'ein ha'manach lichta v'sura d'rabbanon mi'u ikka. V'av she'ein la'im mechavel limchayk it's a great shul v'asar af b'drabanan. The muchach v'simin shin yedvav siv dalet. V'ayim v'sei v'dogim v'vava shemitzaded lahakel be'ikir hadin b'zeh. The dogim v'vava we just saw is makel of everything, even oisios that are not part of the cookie. V'eviyai b'sharet shuva. V'yesh lismach olav kishe'enoi shoyve v'mokem oisios b'yadai rak b'piv derech achila. Psak. Psak of the Mishnah Berurah. If you go ahead, you can take a cake, let's say. So you can't cut between oisios. That sounds like a problem. Let's say you take the whole letter. Someone gets the happy, right? And he wants to eat the whole happy at one time. He can do that. Derech achila. A psak of the Mishnah Berurah you can make. So if you have a lettering on something and you want to eat the whole thing, you're not eat it. You're not allowed to cut it, but not eat it.
But if you have a thick layer, let's say, of not ice, let's say chocolate, like a smash cake or something like that. Yeah. It's like a thick layer. You have the cake, and you have a thick layer. It's like a chocolate bar on top. So it's a chocolate bar on top of a cake.
Yeah, you take it off.
It has happy birthday.
That's what they do. Take it off today.
So they smash it. I mean,
they take it off, and then the kids eat it. Let the kids eat it. Right. You have to stop the kids from eating it.
There's mazel tov on it. You can eat it in 2 or 3 bites.
The cookie that says mazel tov on it is an interesting question. The taka have today, that became a new fad.
Yeah.
That they have the letters of the chassan or the kala, or the mitzvah boy. Yeah. So what is that? It's not part of the cookie. It's not part of the cookie.
But according to this psak,
according to 2 parts is fine. If you take the cookie, according to the Mishnah Berurah come out, that's true. Taka be a heter. Taka be a heter. According to the Mishnah Berurah, if you have a birthday cake and you want to cut the cake, that could be a problem. But if you have a cookie with a letter on it, and you eat it, it's mutter. You don't eat the whole thing at one time.
You break it with your mouth, he says.
Yeah, you break it with your mouth. That's not going to be a heter, right? Right, that's a very good case. That's what I mean. A birthday cake where you're cutting it off so that you can't do. It's not derech achila. When you're doing it b'piv, the way you're breaking it is b'piv, the Mishnah Berurah is making the meister. Yes, lismach alav she'enei shei mokem oisios b'yadei rak b'piv derech achila.
So
he's Meko.
Do you think that derech achila is going back to the Taz?
I don't think so.
No, but he says. He says but if you go back to the Taz, you can build that. No. I mean, you can't break it in your hands and then eat it.
No, it's not the Taz.
This is not like.
No. But Seif is even better than it's even more kol achayad than cutting it up.
So Because I thought this was here. I thought that he was going back to this.
Taz didn't even cut it before. Correct.
In other words,
but he's not matter
you can cut it before at the B'shas Maisa.
He's not being matter there. Right. He's not being matter there. Mr. Bruce not being matter to break it. Right. For example, you want to take the cookie, break it, and eat a piece, and you can't do.
According to
you can't do that. You can't break it and eat it.
You're going to break it in your mouth.
Now, what's that? Now, which level? The biscuits?
We're talking the biscuits. To show you can do. The biscuits you can even break. The biscuits you can break and eat them. That we pass in there. If it's part of the cookie itself, it's mutter. These cookies that we're talking about, they're not part of the cookie.
Because the ksiva is out.
The ksiva is on top of it. Right? They draw the letter. The letter is on top of it. That's the case of the Rosh Halevi with Machman. If something not part of the cookie, it's also. I don't know, maybe you have to know. It's also an interesting question.
You know about icing? This is just a simple
icing on top of, simple icing on top of the cookie. Simple icing on top. That's why you do it today. To have simple icing on top of a cookie with the letter written on top. So that is, you don't have the head of the biscuits. That's not a biscuit. Right? It's a separate thing. But the dogam of Ava is not even there. Yeah. And the Mishburu says if you're makel, if you're doing it bepiv, if you're eating it and you're breaking it. But if you want to break it before and eat a piece,
but if you cut the cake, so that would be a problem.
If you are?
No, the cutting of the cake would be a
problem. According to Mishburu.
So we were discussing this.
Right. You have to leave the words intact.
Leave the word intact, yeah.
Right. So we were probably the same case you're talking about. You have a cupcake. No, it's a cupcake.
Right, a cupcake.
Cupcake with writing on it.
It's writing on it, correct.
Happy whatever.
Right, if you have a cupcake with writing it and you want to bite into it,
right.
According to the Mishburu, it'll be mutter.
That's fine.
Right.
Be mutter, right.
Not using a fork.
Right.
Not cutting it with a fork.
Right. If you take a fork or knife and break it in half, there'll be a problem. According to Taz will be mutter.
Right.
According to the Mishburu, it'll be aser.
Double mervav also would be mutter.
Yeah, so it will also be mutter. I'm thinking now also a lot of times you have the icing on top of a cookie a lot of times, and they don't. In the icing itself, you have the letter. I mean, there's a white thing, let's say, and you have a Zion, let's say, in the icing.
Yeah.
It's like a picture on it or something.
Right. They printed it.
They printed on it.
Machines are kind of almost.
Yeah, so that's, I would say it's called Davaracha. I wouldn't say it's part of the icing now. If you have, let's say, an icing, then in the icing you have the letter, it's not different than a cookie. It has the letter in the cookie itself, where it's mutter. So the icing is mutter to break, because the letter is part of the icing. But I think they print on.
Today you can make a picture into the cake. But that's part of the cake.
No, but it's a part of the cake. It's afterwards.
It's in the icing.
It's not in the icing. Is it in the icing or the
icing? No, it's in the icing. It's the color is in the icing. The picture is in the icing.
So if it's part of the icing, then no. But the icing, No, but the icing itself is one piece.
The cake, yeah, one cake.
If I write on something with my pyros, it's awesome. Even though it's absorbed by the plate.
Right.
There's
no, but here it becomes part of the icing.
It's absorbed by the icing, but that doesn't make it part of the icing.
No, it is the icing.
It's absorbed in the icing?
No, it's in the icing. The letters that come out, the color that comes out.
White icing and you put these
right.
on.
You don't make the icing that way. You make the icing, and then you print it on top of the icing.
I think it's a printer that prints it like really
on the icing. No, that's a Davaracha. That's a Davaracha.
Is actually the Rav making a chiluk between if I just write letters with icing on top of the cookie as opposed to covering the whole cookie with icing and writing the letter?
No, that's my question. That's my question. If the letters in the icing is part of the icing, or they put it on top of the icing afterwards?
No, it's part of the icing.
So they put it on top of the icing afterwards, then it's the same thing as a cookie. They put something on top of it.
Even though it doesn't stick out.
Even though it doesn't stick out, right, but still something came afterwards. Right, it has to be made together with it. Yeah, the icing itself is afterwards. If they would make the icing, right, and part of the icing is the tzura,
then you could just eat the icing?
Then you eat the icing, yeah.
But different from the cookie.
But even the icing they make today is not shot that the icing is, the picture is part of the icing. They make the icing, put the picture on top of the icing. So it's the same problem as putting it on top of the cookie. So if you have a cake with icing and there was a picture on it, you're not allowed to cut that cake.
If the tzura was part of the icing?
The tzura was part, if they print out the icing together with the tzura, then they're harami, they're mutter.
So let's say, for example, you know how when you make icing you can make little dots?
Right.
So what if you made hundreds of dots on the top of your cake?
Right.
And you included in those dots a letter, a mem as
It's
part
not
of it.
continuous. It's made up of
So now the
Understand.
letter is really part of the icing thing. So you get
Interesting question. Interesting question, but I don't know if every dot of icing is called a separate thing.
each dot is separate.
Maybe called a separate thing. So the letter is a separate
No,
thing.
it's the same idea when you have, let's say, two vaves and you do a line on top, and now it becomes a ches. So they become connected.
It's more like
But here,
say on a computer screen, can you take away Hashem's name? Because the name on the screen is pixels.
it's not, yeah,
Not
This is
continuous.
like that. That's not that kind of thing.
no, I'm not sure.
Sort of like that.
No, I'm not sure. You make little dots, and in that little dots. So you want to look at it now as all those little dots is one big cookie,
Yeah.
and not that each thing is separately.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm not sure. That's how you look at it. So it's a little chiddush to me to say that you look at the whole thing as one big cookie, because it was done separate. The reason why Mishmur says the reason why on the uga it's mutter because it's not called kaisiv. He didn't write. It was baked together with it's not called kaisiv. That's the way you write. Here you're writing each dot. You're writing the ice. I'm not sure. I don't know. An interesting question. I'm not sure. But we have to take a big header that when you have these cookies and stuff that individuals that are made with the letters on them, you don't eat them. You don't have a piece of them machmir to have them on Shabbos because they're not reason. But according to the Mishnah Berurah,
And the third level.
breaking them could be a problem. Yeah.
And what about the third level, which is the cookie is in the shape of the...
So that's mutter. Cookies in the shape of is definitely
I
mutter.
thought we said that's the third level.
That was the lowest level. I meant that was the lowest level. Yeah.
The first level was the letters are in the...
Right. So I made a mistake. I said that the lowest level is the thing itself is in the shape. The cake in the shape of a letter. That's a shomata.
Nobody argues on
alphabet
that.
biscuits.
And then the
Right.
biscuits with the printing on it is the second level.
Right, and then we have the Rosh Levi. Right, a gingerbread cookie. Right, that you can eat. That's not a
The
problem.
letters, like how you got the
Right, the cookies, the animal crackers.
Yeah.
Right, shapes of animals.
Right.
Alphabets. Right. Who is in the alphabets? Right, it's mutter. That's mutter.
All right.
Alphabet was a Shabbos street. Yeah, so that's mutter. Who speaks it out with Furish? Someone speaks it out with Furish. That if the whole thing was made from the surah of an ice, that's for sure not called ice. You're not eat it. I have to find it. I'm not sure where it is. But that's for sure is mutter. So the Maisa, halacha Maisa, we come out that the biscuits or something that's an ice itself, the whole cake is an ice, it's mutter, not a problem. But if it's a separate thing and added onto the cake or the cookie, you're not allowed to cut it open, but Mr. Brewer's Maker, if you're eating it, then Mr. Brewer's Maker, they're allowed to eat it, but don't break it before you eat it. It's a big nichshel, I guess. You're right. It's a big nichshel because people break it before they eat it, and it can be a problem. Okay. Right. So let's start. I'm not sure if we'll be able to finish this halacha. Let's start at least. If we don't finish, we'll see you next week. So we saw the Magen Avraham brought down that. I go back to the Magen Avraham. The cost of B'shu is Umah. Siman Kufi test. The Seifish a cost of Al-Dafim. ICS. Mutter l'ftaychai v'l'no'alai. And then open and close it. They have a lot of times. ICS written today. They don't have it anymore. But in the olden days, they have a lot of times. The library books, right? The stamp.
I can hear women's section.
For property of the buyer, you have it.
They do printer on the side.
Yeah. In the women's, as long as in the women's section.
What do you do?
I don't know.
You want to test this a lot?
No, we're passing that it's mutter, but all our friends said that Chatchil you shouldn't do it. Chatchil is should not be done.
Except for the Bible.
No,
If didn't know, whatever.
yeah, it should not be done. It should not be done. Definitely should not be done, especially in a shul. You are.
What if it's on the spine of the book?
That's okay. You know,
spine, but you're not opening
When
it.
as you open and close it, gradually the lettering might wear out.
No, that's not the situation.
Right.
It's not sure going to happen. Here you're opening it up.
That's smart.
Yeah, you're opening it up. It's okay, let's see. We'll see.
Isn't it also the same with Tzuros? I mean, whether it's an Tzuros or not.
Tzuros, yeah, that's how called Tzuros.
I'm saying,
same thing, yeah. The Ramah says it's mutter. The kibbutz the also level of toyach like a mishamochik. Since it's meant to open and close, there's no mishamochik. We'll see what that means. Ayin sham sheherich uvelavush katos shel kor b'chiyav chatas. V'chein nirli lahachmir the Magen Avraham comes out of chumrah that you should not do it. The rayas Ramah ain't mechrachos. The rayas of the Ramah are not so good. So the Magen Avraham brings down a machlokes. The Ramah, he says, is mekel mutmate, and the Lavush says chiyav chatas. So let's look in the Taz. Taz brings it down. Left off here by Tzorachin, Ubelavush Kosav. That's what we left off in the Taz. You see it?
Second line
Ubelavush Kosav, and nearly the Huadin, Oisan Sforim Shekoisvin Aleihem Beroshay Chudei Adapim, the Maila, Oimitzideihem, Oisios Atevois. Sforim that would write on top or on the side, Oisios Atevois, Kamashinago Ktsas, Oisan Sforim, Shinago Ktsas, Oisan Sforim, those Sforim, also the Poiskon V'Shabbos, Mishom Moichik. Why? You're breaking open the Oisios. Every time you close it, you're writing.
Write the word, yeah.
You're writing the word. You put the word together again. The chomet fei mishvira to ugos. Says the Lavush, it's worse than breaking the ugos. Why? The ain't sham elamoichik. Why the ugos? It's only a moichik, and you can never put it back together again. Here you're moichik it, you're erasing the Oisios, you're breaking them open, then you're putting them back together again. Why is there a moichik gamanas lichtoiv? After you're learning, you're going to close the Sefer. So it's a moichik gamanas lichtoiv. Says the Lavush, it's much worse than the cookies. For korban yiloyim shechayiv olav chatas ad kam l'shoinai. That's what the Lavush says, the chiyav chatas for such a case. The Kama V'Kama Hifris Rav Al Midoisov says the Taz. Kama V'Kama so much Hifris Rav Al Midoisov. He was very machmer to listen. He was machmer Al Midoisov means he went out of the way to be machmer. La'anash V'Zeh Chatas Mitam Kreisiv Dafil L'Fis V'Rosai Potter. Even according to the source of the Taz, it's not Chayiv Chatas. According to the source of the Lavush, it won't be chayav chatas, but ain't mischaver miskiris a sefer k'deshiyu oises misedarim. He doesn't have a mind. When a person opens and closes the sefer, he doesn't have a mind to write and to erase. It happens to be on the side of the sefer, so it's writing and erasing. You can't give him a chayav chatas. Ela skiris a sefer mechaver. He's only mechaver to close it. The sooner lead ein kam le'moichik v'lei koisev. Says the Taz, the truth is there's no moichik and there's no koisev at all in this type of sefer. Why? If someone wrote, it's a Gemara there, one ice in Tveria, and they wrote another ice in Tzipori. He walked an hour, not so far it is from Tzipori to Tveria, and he wrote a second ice. So if you write one ice, it's also, but it's not chayiv. If you wrote two ices, one in Tveria, one in Tzipori, it's missing to put it, it's called kaisiv, but you just have to get them together. You have to put the ices together. If you write on two walls of the house or two different papers, it's potter. If you write an ice in the middle of a page, another ice in the middle of a page, you can never get them together. The only way to get them together is if you cut the pages, and then you could put the ices together, sitting on two different walls. You can't get them together unless you break the wall. So therefore, if you write two ices on a wall, you potter. Not chayiv, because you can't get them together, only by doing something else. But if I write one ice by itself, another ice by itself, all I got to do is put them together, then I'm ready to chayiv.
So according to the Lavush, he said, I'm burning a banner.
Huh?
if I'm unfurling a banner, let's say I have a banner, it's closed, and I open it up.
No, that's very written.
Something like this.
No, that's very written. That's very all written out. That's already all written out, and all you're doing is revealing it.
Right.
And that's different in our case. So it says, he wrote one ice at the end of a page. Sorry, I lost it over here. From there the Yechayiv, I learn a p'tur to our case. Over there it says if you write one ice at the end of a page and one ice in the beginning of a page, even though the pages are not together, it says Yechayiv. Why Yechayiv? Because all your mechusar is kreva, putting them together. Says the Taz, if that's all you're missing is a mechusar kreva and it's chayiv, so therefore if I already have two oisius written and I put them together, you put them. Now you can't be chayiv twice in something. So if someone writes one ice at the end of a page and one ice at the beginning of a page and they're far away from each other, he's chayiv. Why? Because all the others are mechusar kreva. Someone else goes and puts them together. Could you be mechayiv him? Why can't you? Because it's done. It's already called done. You can't be mechayiv two people for one ma'aser. Right? So if the first person was chayiv and he wrote two different ices, so the second person who puts it together, you can't be mechayiv him. Says the Taz, it's derived from there.
Are there different chiyuvim? The first one's not chayiv v'chatos.
Chayiv v'chatos.
The first one?
It's chayiv v'chatos.
Because each one
is it's only mechusar kreva if it's done already.
Oh, I thought mechusar kreva meant that it was not chayiv chatos.
No, it's a chayiv chatos. It's a chayiv chatos because all there is in mechusar kreva says if it's already together. So it's a chayiv chatos. So therefore we learn a p'tur lid the dawn the keichet the hasam chayiv shem ksiba af b'isha ein smuchim al havin ki'ilu heim zeh etel zeh v'chayiv chatos amela kan the nisrach ka aksiva chasiva lo ki'ilu adayin smuchim ve'iyu lo oved midi. He didn't do anything. Hein einyanis ve'asam v'chak hein k'shechayze v'segad ve'oved ma'isa chodosh ki aksiva kfar hi kayemes and the ksiva is already done. Says the Taz, basically what we're saying is once you have two letters written, putting them together, taking them apart, is no issue. It's done. The ksiva is done. In fact, putting them together, taking them apart, doesn't make a difference. Therefore, if you have a sefer that has isis in it, the isis is already there, you're opening and closing it, it's not a problem.
It's not two letters are two complete things.
Right? He's saying it's one letter.
It's breaking up in each thing.
Yeah, so that's the time goes at the end. It says then that will be chiluk either way. Over there we're only saying in the chumrah that you want to do it lekula, you want to say lekula that it's considered written already, it can't be. Why? The gabachiyev chatos ein shayach chumrah. The yesh chashasha maybe chul nazara or the kachach baruch hu came. Says the Taz, don't tell me of a deer that when you write two oisius, it's only a chumrah that you chayiv, right? But over here, you want to do the kula and say it's already done and put them together. We go with machmer also. Says the Taz that can't be because there's a chiyav chatas. Chiyav chatas means you bring a carbon. If you bring a carbon, it must be this definite din. Therefore, it's considered written. Putting them together again is definitely mutar l'chatchila, says the Taz. Then Taz goes through more, and we'll have to leave the rest of the Taz next week, I think. It's good that you see the whole Taz inside till the end. It's Mishmaka Taz, but we'll see that that's a possible to do on Shabbos. So I'd like to finish.